Hi, first I would like to say that happy Veterans Day to all the veterans out there, and thank for all the things that they have done for us to allow us to be able to be in a place like this, to play a game that we all love, and to enjoy life as it is, because if it wasn't for the veterans out there and the current members of the military serving, life would be completely different as we know it. So my hat's off and thank you guys. And ladies, the U.S. military. Next.
So obviously slow start against Kingsville, but you guys were able to come out with one. Just kind of take us through that a little bit.
Kind of a shocking start. You know, we came out and they got the ball and we had them in a third down, and we actually called a defense incorrectly. We hadn't practiced it that way the entire week. So coach made a mistake in that and called it incorrectly. So we had a little confusion, and they snapped the ball before we get a timeout. They made us pay for it. So when you make little mistakes like that against good teams, that happens. So we're down 7-0 to start off, and they get down, and we didn't have an answer for their offense. They get an interception and return it down inside the 20-yard line, and had a long punt return, and we're down 17-0, and had to get our wheels back underneath us. And thank God we did. We got Nick. They were really keying on Duke and Logan and our running backs and Jordan, and so Nick pulled one and went about 30 yards and got us going in the game. And then we just had a complete 4th and 20. They throw a Hail Mary. The quarterback is throwing it off the back of he's basically almost on the ground. He slings it up, and we got to coach our guys better in order to understand the situation. It's I'm screaming at him, knock the ball down, but it's probably too late. Probably should have known in that situation what the down and distance was, because even if they get an interception in the end zone, we lose 10 to 12 yards because of where the ball was. And we got one guy trying to swat it, 2 guys trying to intercept it, and it goes right in their hands. And next thing you know, it's 24-7, and they got momentum again. So drove down in the end of the first half and got a score, cut it to within 10. I think Nick had a big scramble for that one. And then we put our defense back out there, and there's still some time, called some timeouts, try to get the ball back, try to get another score before the half, because we knew we were getting the ball back. So we were trying to double up. In that case, we'd have been to a triple up because we got the touchdown, got a 3 and out, had time on the clock. And that was first half, down 24-14, and started coming out. And I thought we did really well, setting a tone for the start of the second half and scoring right away. I thought our defense cranked it up. And, I think they had 11 plays in the first quarter and a half of the second, going into the fourth quarter. So we really kind of shut them down, and we get the Tobias' interception, his return, great blocking by our defense. Something they don't normally do is go down and block on something like that. We didn't have any stupid penalties like we had in our kickoff return game, with guys were blocking forward instead of looking back. So Tobias gets down to the 6, Jordan scores, and defense goes 3 and out, and then they kick it to Tobias. And Tobias, congrats to Tobias. He set the school season punt return record. He set the school probably career punt return record, if I'm not mistaken. And he's got 2 years left of that. And he currently leads the nation in punt returns. And he'll be the first one to tell you there's 10 other guys on the field that do things for him that allow him to get a crease. But he's the guy carrying the ball. And thank goodness the kicker didn't tackle him this time. That's the biggest joke I have. The kicker's tackled him a couple of times. But then, we got the momentum, and sure enough, they come back and drive down the field, and we give them some yardage. We make some, again, mistakes in our coverages. And, it comes down to the end, and Chaz, gets the interception in the end zone. And Chaz is a guy that's played a lot of football, and he's been around, and they lined up in the very similar formation. They got a touchdown earlier in the game, and Chaz recognized that, and bounced back, and he was right there to get the pick. I think one of the biggest things I'm proud of is we got the ball back with 4 minutes left, and they never saw the field again on offense. So we were able to grind out running the ball when they know we're going to run the ball, and they had a couple of timeouts left, and I think we got 30 yards on that drive, and Logan Vallow did most of the damage on that. So I'm very proud of our offensive line, over 300 yards rushing. It was a good night. Take away, stupid penalties, stupid mistakes. We had 10 penalties and 2 15-yarders that were just, there's no excuse for it. I tell our guys all the time, it's a team game, and you can't be selfish. Nobody cares about that big hit. You just go do your job. And in the first kickoff return, I felt like if the young man would have gone forward and went and blocked somebody, that we'd had a kickoff return for a touchdown on that. So, but I'm glad there's a second half.
Coach,
no matter what happens on Saturday, 7 wins. This is the best season you've had since you've been here. It feels like the trajectory seems like upward from your first year. You talked last week about how far you've come a long way. How good does that feel going, knowing the type of season you've had going into this game? It's, I'm sure you want to win another one, but how successful have you been so far? How much does that mean to you in the program right now?
Well, I think right now, the next game is the most important game, and I think if we don't finish strong, that we'll always look back at a disappointment. We got 19 seniors coming out Saturday for the last time to play in a West Texas uniform. It's going to be special for them. It's going to be emotional for them, and it's going to be to try to get them their 8th win here from what we went through, changing the culture from where it was when I got here with our staff, and our staff's done a great job of continuing that. But these seniors that have stuck around during that time really deserve a lot of credit for where we are, just because of what they went through and how they transitioned, and in all honesty, how they have brought along the younger guys that have become a part of this program. So it's going to be a very emotional day for us, and the only outcome we expect is to win. And if not, it's going to be a very disappointing end of the season. So we'll look back on a lot of things, but you always want to go out your last one to win.
Coach, it seems like just yesterday we were on the practice field discussing the fact that you have so many options at the quarterback position between Perez and Gerber. Do you feel like you've used your quarterback core the way you wanted to, the way you envisioned, with all the different packages and every single setup the game has to offer this season?
Yeah, because as injuries have come along, we've had to shuffle some guys around, and we put Max back there running back a little bit just because his capabilities there. We've used him as a blocker, we've used him on special teams. I think it was pretty evident after a while that Nick was going to be the guy. I think probably the most unsung hero right now is Mitch Hood. I mean, Mitch has stepped in there when he needed to. But Mitch does a lot of things on the sideline that he doesn't get credit for. I mean, he calms Nick down. He gets him right. He's very cerebral in the game, and we might have made a mistake by giving him a headset because now he wants to go into coaching, is what he's told us. And I keep telling him, no, there's just, you'll end up looking like me. Right here and every, bags under your eyes and no sleep. But no, I think we did a good job utilizing those guys and putting them in positions where they could be successful.
Is there a future here for Mitch, your coaching staff?
There's always a future here with any of our former players. It's just got to be the right timing for them to come back and who they are. But yeah, if that's something Mitch wants to get into, I would definitely look into that possibility if he wants to be here or if he wants to be anywhere else. I mean, I think that's our job as coaches to try to help mentor and whether it's coaching or any profession, to try to do all we can to get them in that profession to get them started off right.
Talk about Midwestern. What is it going to take to get a win against them this coming Saturday?
Well, we've got to score more points than they do, man. So if we do that, we'll be all right. I know what your last one is. To beat Midwestern, well, I mean, this is a different time for Midwestern State. They're sitting at 5-5. They haven't had a losing year in about 20 years, so they're going to come out fighting. Coach Maskell does a great job motivating his players and getting them ready to play regardless of the opponent. They're offensively, they do a lot of different things in the run-pass option game, and quarterback is getting better steadily. It is a drop-off from the guy they had, Rob, last year, that a 3-year starter and was in that offense. But I think this guy is getting a lot of confidence in himself and what he wants to do. And, they've dealt with what all of us have dealt with. They've had some injuries, so we got new faces coming in every week. And for those guys defensively, they're going to run to the ball. They're going to be physical up front. So we have to dominate the line of scrimmage up front on both sides of the ball. I think if we can establish the run game and stop their run game, I think that's the key to the game, winning the line of scrimmage for us.
You talked about senior day, and it's going to be emotional. There's a few of these guys that, like Jared Johnson, Jordan Johnson, that have been here since the start, since you got here. Talk about what those guys mean to the program,
Well,
what they've done.
first off, Jordan's got another year left, so we're going to try to get that worked out through the spring, so we can get him back. And then I take a guy like Jared Johnson, Chaz Latinsky, Brock Gerlich, Tucker Kiesel, Chris Johnson. Those guys have been here since we were started our new regime of running dirty dozens in the mornings and getting up at 6 o'clock and not caring whether there's frost on the ground and their hands getting frostbit. We cared about it, but we just didn't. We weren't going to stop doing what we were doing because of that. And then our Friday night fun runs. So I think if y'all get a chance to talk to any of those guys, ask about our Friday night fun runs. What it took to hold players accountable. And I think that's what I'm saying. Those older guys, the young guys haven't experienced that. They hear about it. And all our older guys tell them is, you do not, trust me, you want to be where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there, because you do not want to go through the same stuff we did. And I think that's where we wanted to hold our players, to hold each other accountable, and I figure that's how you're successful. The coaches can't always be the ones getting on them. If the players start policing their own locker room, then I think a team's got a chance. And those guys took that to heart, and I think that's why you see us playing the way we did. Last year I thought we were in some games that lost some games that were heartbreakers, and we've done the same thing this year. But I think it's because our players are starting to hold each other accountable, and those guys started that movement for us.
First question is going to be just kind of talk about Nick Gerber's. He was able to use his legs a lot more this game, it felt like, than he has. He's been more of like a pocket passer, but this time he got out and run. It was successful. Do you think that's something that could be part of the game plan?
That's what happens when you get scared to death. People coming at you, you start using your legs, you start running. And I think he's getting more comfortable in the offense of what we're doing. And we knew that he would have to use his legs to run a little to get us some yardage when we needed it. So in the run game where he's reading and seeing the end come crashing down on those backs, I think he did great on his reads, and where he didn't make the same mistakes he's made, and that's what I really like about him. He's learning from his mistakes, and that's what continues to get him better. And the one he scrambled on, he just made plays. That's just the athlete Nick and the competitor and Nick not wanting to go down and getting that 30 yards for the touchdown. So he made some guys miss.
How cool was it to have Logan Vallow back and just the game that he had?
It was good. You can see the difference he makes, and it's a different punch with him and Duke in there when Logan is healthy, and he puts his shoulders down and he runs. And we give him a lot of grief today watching film and showing highlights where the second to last play of the game, he bounces off a guy and turns and stumbles, or else he might have a touchdown there. So he's got the ability to go the distance. He took one around the end, for about 45 yards. And just it's good to have two guys of that caliber that can at any time can go the distance. So, and Logan's a little bit more physical than Duke. I think he lowers his pads a little bit more. But it was good for him to be back.
Go ahead.
You had two guys over 100 yards, and I think that's the first time you've had Nick was on. That's his. How much has that been a goal to you as far as the running games and very balanced? Most of them you can count on that just one guy.
Like I've told everybody before, if we don't have to throw the ball at all, I'm okay with that. The Eastern New Mexico beat Angelo State, and they had -2 yards throwing the ball, and they had 400 yards rushing the ball. So my whole philosophy and this staff's philosophy is, we got to run the ball, we got to stop the run, and then good things can happen. So you can't ever account for the quarterback. You got to play different types of coverages, and you have a guy that can run that's a threat. Nick proved that this past week. It doesn't, 313 yards rushing, I don't care who gets it, how it's divided up, I'll take that all day, every day. So it's not a goal to go out and have 200-yard rushers, but it's a goal to, establish line of scrimmage, dominate line of scrimmage, and be able to run the football.
I want to go back to Tobias for a second. He's obviously had some big punt returns this year, but it always seems to be like incredibly clutch moments. Like fourth quarter, you need it. He's getting a good punt return. How nice is that to have someone where it's like crunch time and you know if they're punting it to him, he's got a chance to take it.
It's kind of ironic that you say that because they're about to punt and Duke's standing next to me and he says, Coach, he's going to take this one to the house. And I went, how do you know? He goes, I just know, I feel it. And he's running down and he breaks through and he goes, and he's hit me. I told you. And I'm like, yeah, you told me, Duke. So, you know, it's good to have a player like that. Tobias is a competitor. He loves the game of football. I think that's his biggest attribute. And yeah, he's the one that gets all the glory, but those other 10 guys did a great job of blocking people. On that particular run, Keemon Davis takes the gunner out of the picture and allows Tobias room to catch the ball. And we tell the returner, you got to make one or two guys miss. And Tobias did that, and then there were blocks set up along the way. And again, there were no stupid mistakes, no stupid penalties on that to bring it back. But you know, the interception. I mean, we knew they were going to test Tobias on the interception before. I mean, they're going up against a guy who's 6'6". Again, we showed film today, and as they're running, I mean, you can see the guy's number 5, top of Tobias' head and his helmet. Like there's a 6'6" guy against a 5'6" guy. I said, but the difference is this guy wants the ball, and he goes up and gets the ball. You know, there's a desire to want to do that. And I thought he should have had the other one. Looking at the film, he and the receiver went down together with the ball, and he has it, puts it up there, and the referee gives it to Kingsville. So just a competitor and a guy who loves the game and got a smile on his face and just a happy-go-lucky guy. It's just, I'm glad he's on our team. I wouldn't have kicked it to him. I'll tell you that right now. We've done a lot of avoiding the guys, and we avoided kicking to their return guys this week. We did sky kicks all the time, and we rugby kicked it a lot. So I would be surprised if the ball's in Tobias' hands, and there's sky kicking on kickoff returns to them too because he's back there. So I'd be surprised to see the ball in his hands a lot in the punt game. I would not punt it to him.
With the playoffs hope still alive, what do you tell the team this week heading into Saturday?
Well, you know, that lottery, somebody's got to win it, right? One ticket. So like the old Dumb and Dumber. So you're saying there's a chance, $1 million to 1. So you're saying there's a chance is how I look at it. Lloyd Christmas. And we got to have some things happen. The first thing's got to happen is we got to control what we can control. And we can only control how we play. And we got to go out and win. If we don't win, it's over. There is no hope. So if we go out and win and other things fall into place, then, you know, we got a shot. You know, do I think we're deserving of that? You know, I would like to see us have a chance in there because of the way we're playing. But, you know, football is different than any other sport. You know, there's no conference tournament you go to at the end of the year. So if you mess up once early, say you have a flag thrown against you, a legal man downfield, or miss a field goal, miss an opportunity, drop a ball, you don't get to make that up in the, in a conference tournament. So I think you look at that, and I think we've played well enough to be in there, and if we get in there, we'll go out and represent West Texas A&M in the Lone Star Conference as well as we can, and if not, we'll deal with that when the time comes. But we control, and that's getting a win, and we'll see where everything else falls.